Hello and welcome to the fifth tutorial in the Bootstrap free series. In this part we're going to be looking at implementing a grid system. We'll be using the source code from the fourth part of this series. If you don't have it, don't worry, there'll be a link in the description. A couple of tutorials ago we already discussed the grid system and actually showed it on the Bootstrap website, and it's amazing. But we are going to actually create a basic implementation of the grid system that makes Bootstrap amazing. So let's go ahead and open up our project in a text editor. First, what we need to do is create a div with the container class that will basically contain the meat of the website. You can have multiple containers, so you can maybe have a container for the header, maybe a container for the body, a container for the footer, and you can have more as well, but generally Bootstrap it works well regardless of how many containers you have, but it allows you to contain code, manage it, so generally you don't need too many. You'll probably be using other elements. So we're going to put the h1 within this div tag, so we're going to put div class, actually one second, let me just undo all this and I will zoom in so people, let's say that are viewing on a mobile device, should be able to see this a little better. So we're going to do div class equals container. This is a built-in class for Bootstrap, and what we're going to do now is just end this tag, save it. So what we're going to go and do now is just run this in our web browser, and as you can see it's slightly moved to the right, and we'll show you why. Let's inspect the element. Let's just get rid of the console, go to the body, and here is our container class, and as you can see it is 1170 pixels wide. And if we go down to here, we have, this is what we have. We have our element, which is the container. We have the padding at the sides, so in total it is 1170. Then we have the border, and then we have the little margin which is at the right at the side there. So if I resize it, as you can see this is adjusting accordingly, so the different sizes, and if I just keep going down and down, that's what happens. So this is basically our container, this is where our content will fit. So let's just go off this a second, go back to Sublime Text. Let's implement some grid spaces, but before doing that we need a div with a class of row. So we're going to do div class equals row, and in here what we're going to do is put a div, and the class for this is going to be column dash medium dash 4, and inside this we're going to do another div, and for this class we're going to put, we'll explain all of this in a moment, gray dash box, and in here I was going to put box 1 / div / div. So this column dash md dash 4 is a built-in class for Bootstrap, and it basically says this column on a medium screen device should be 4 grid spaces wide. Remember, you can have up to 12 grid spaces, so this is going to be a third of the grid. And this little div inside here with the class gray box, that's not built into Bootstrap. We're going to be creating this ourselves. We're going to be styling it up here. We're just going to add a few basic styling to it so we can just demonstrate the grid a little better. So what we're going to do is copy and paste this. We're just going to change one thing here, 2, 3, 4, 5, and 6. Save it, and now what we're going to do is just add some styling so you can see what we are trying to do better. So we are going to put styling in a style tag right here. We recommend that you don't do this. You recommend that you actually put it in a separate file and just include that file into your code. Helps maintain code better. So in here it's going to do dot gray dash box, and for this we're going to do a background color of, well, I think you can guess, gray. We're going to do a height value of 200 pixels, go margin dash bottom of 10 pixels. This is just so we separate the different grid spaces out. As you'll see in a moment what happens to them. I'm going to do font dash size colon 2 em text align center, and we're just going to put a padding within it of 80 pixels, and this will just align the box 1 text and the box 2 and so forth in the center of the box. So let's save it, go back to our web browser, refresh, and what we have is 6 boxes. And you might be thinking, why are they 1, 2, 3 and 1, 2, 3? It's based on the grid system that we've used, because it's column, medium, and 4 grid spaces out of 12, so it's 4, 8, 12. So you can't fit more than 12 grid spaces on one line. And if we just go back, and that's really 4, 8, 12, 4, 8, 12. And if I start resizing, something amazing happens. Look, I resize, it goes a little smaller, it adjusts, and then I resize again, and it's just all gone onto one column, because this is what a mobile device would look like. Because if you were to have separate boxes on one row, it would be too small to read, you wouldn't be able to fit the content, and the content will be overflowing out of that box, for example. So a lot of mobile devices have a similar layout. And then on a bigger screen, so maybe a desktop or a really big tablet, this is how it will look. So you can have multiple boxes in this example in one or on the screen at once. So if we just go back to Sublime, so what we've done is created, like I said, the column, medium, 4 and so forth. We can now run the website. As you can see, it's working very well, and we've looked at the 12 grid spaces, we've looked at the column medium. We are going to end this tutorial. There is still a lot more to discuss in terms of grids, especially grid sizes, but because there's so much, we're going to separate that into the next tutorial, which will cover different grid sizes. Because you may have noticed, like I said, this is medium. If they're the medium, is there a small, large, etc.? Yes, there is, and you'll have to stay tuned for the next tutorial. If you have any questions, feel free to message us at support@sonarsystems.co.uk. The email will be in the description. You can comment on this video or just directly message us via YouTube, or the required link for source code will also be in the description. And as usual, thank you for watching, and I hope you have a great day.